HMS Rellington.
Yes.
Miles out of position.
Is she ever?
Trust the R&R to get it wrong.
Trust the what?
Royal Naval Reserve. The Rellington's an R&R ship.
Oh, well. No wonder.
HMS Hero. Have curtailed my gunnery exercise owing to the unscheduled presence of your helicopter in my exercise area. Fall out the gun screw.
So much for the professionals in Her Majesty's ship Hero.
What do you mean you lost him? He's just overflown Rellington.
Well, he shouldn't have done, sir. Rellington's an area delta to the north. Our Wasp was meant to be an area hotel to the south.
Haven't you been tracking him?
He went low level, sir. When a helo appeared in area hotel, I thought it was him. Must be Apollo's Wasp.
Call him. Get a bearing on him.
Sir, if we break radio silence now, we lose the whole point of the exercise.
Well, better than losing our Wasp. Call him.
7-1, Papa Bravo, over.
7-1, go.
7-1, climb for radar fixing.
Roger, climbing.
He's to the north. What the hell's he doing? 7-1, check heading.
350, returning to London.
7-1, reverse course. Make your heading 180 magnetic. It's miles to the north of Rellington, sir, but thinks he's to the south of us.
He must be joking.
Unless...
Hell, yes. How much fuel have we got?
Seven one, confirm steady 180.
7-1, steady 180. Estimate
You've got an emergency with a helicopter.
Roger, Papa Bravo. He's very short on fuel, sir.
Pilot, take charge on the bridge. Come port to north up to 26 knots. And tell the flight deck to prepare for an emergency landing, helo returning short of fuel.
Aye, aye, sir.
Number one, get the seaboat turned out and ready, and ask Rellington to close me best speed and take plane guard station. Well?
If we got a ditching on our hands, I'd rather the R&R boys kept out of the way.
Well, I wouldn't. So, what happened?
I got the areas wrong, sir.
How?
I don't know. I must have started flying reciprocal courses soon after I went freelance.
You were late getting airborne, late for briefing and others. Tim, you came here under quarterly report. That means that in 6 weeks or so I have to write a recommendation whether or not you should stay in the Navy.
Yes, sir.
You're not making it any easier.
Yes, sir.
I've cancelled your last sortie.
Well, I don't think that's necessary.
After flying through Rellington's gunnery range, causing me to break off a valuable communications exercise and almost ditching your aircraft through lack of fuel? I'm not having you airborne again today.
Well, it's the flight I'm thinking of, sir. They're keyed up, ready to go.
I said no.
I see.
Yes, Jack.
Hope you weren't too hard on him, sir.
I beg your pardon?
Proctor's knocking himself out trying to get off quarterly report.
He could very easily have got himself shot down.
Well, he didn't.
Why are you being so protective?
Because he's a good lad and he's being screwed by the system.
He's a flight commander. If he doesn't buck up, he could kill himself, his crewman, and half the flight deck.
He's overtired.
He hasn't exceeded the maximum flying hours.
But he's tense, constantly on trial.
And if he doesn't buck up, he'll have to go.
All he needs is a few days' rest.
Well, maybe. What annoys me most of all, that it started us off on the wrong foot with Rellington. Shown us over up in front of the reserve.
Oh, I shouldn't worry about them, sir.
Why not?
Well, these R&R boys, weekend sailors.
Is that how you regard them?
It's their annual jolly. A fortnight away from the office and the wife.
No. I respect people for giving up their spare time for something they believe in, and I want you to look after them.
Doing that, I've invited their warden for drinks on arrival.
There are other ways of looking after them, James.
I'll lend them my seamanship manual.
Well, it's typical of the regular Navy. They label us a bunch of amateurs. Probably frightened Richie will teach them a thing or two.
That's rubbish.
Uh-huh. What about that shaft they created this morning?
We've had a very pleasant signal apologising for that, and they've asked us for drinks on arrival.
Well, standard routine. Gin and tonics in harbour, never mind what happened at sea.
Well, we're with them for the next 10 days.
Better teach them a spot of navigation.
Only navigation. Oh, well, I'm on watch.
Excuse me, sir.
What was all that about?
Lieutenant Hugh Mannering, R&R. Know-all and adventurer extraordinary.
Well, what was it this time?
The real Navy can't do it as well as he can.
Do what?
Who knows? So far, we've heard about his trip up the Amazon, his spell in Antarctica, how he became an expert at karate, what he did to the American Stock Exchange.
Well, one of these days he'll be found out.
Sooner the better. Meanwhile, I was wondering if it might be possible for me to transfer to Hero. Perhaps a week's exchange with one of their officers.
Is it as bad as that?
Like sharing a mess with James Bond, Captain Cook and Tarzan, all at once.
Well, you know my feelings, Keith. I was expecting to have you as my first lieutenant, not our mutual friend.
Just a thought.
Of course, if we did do an exchange with Hero, they don't know what the noble Mannering is like.
Are you suggesting what I think you're suggesting?
I can have a chat with the captain of Hero this evening when we get in.
No, only when you get those to parachute.
So you parachute?
Next morning.
And did you ever find it? The White Tiger?
Now a rug on my study floor.
Really?
And what are you in civilian life, Keith?
I'm a vet. A vet? Oh, what's funny about that?
Oh, nothing, just a thought. One day you're coping with hamsters, the next day it's sweetwine.
Joy of the R&R. Only person who doesn't change his job is Michael.
Once a doctor, always a doctor?
Well, why waste a brilliant medical mind?
Right. What is your captain?
A barrister.
And what about your number one?
Oh, he does a bit of everything.
Oh, excuse me. Leaving, sir.
Yes, well, I think...
Mind if we join you, James?
Pleasure, sir. Do you know Lieutenant Mannering?
Mannering? Commander Handley suggested that we exchange a couple of people for the passage to Funchal.
Oh, delighted.
What about sending over Tim Proctor and his crewmate? Give them that rest you were prescribing.
Well, if you can clear it with CNC, what's a Wasp out of action?
Oh, I can fix that, I'm sure.
Right, good idea.
Splendid.
Well, what about us, sir? Names out of a hat?
No, I shall need Keith Spender as sweep deck officer and a couple of watchkeepers. Chief's unlikely to be dragged away from his engines. That leaves the doctor and you.
Right. Looks like I shall be understudying you. En voyage.
Yes, that'll be interesting.
Cheers.
Cheers.
But seriously, it can't be easy putting down a helo on a pitching deck at night.
Well, it's part of the job, sir.
No, you're being modest. I'm not used to modesty in this wardroom.
Keith?
Two absent friends. But there isn't a problem, as long as you take it one step at a time. As a matter of fact, I wrote a book on it.
Did you?
Yes, and I translated the French edition myself.
You speak French, do you?
Yes, I'm fluent in most European languages. Well, it's no credit to me. It's a gift. You've either got it or you haven't.
Oh, yes. Right.
Our number one's a bit of a linguist, too.
No, really?
He can say, my friend will pay in 36 languages.
Yes, that's funny. That's what I've always wanted to write.
What's that?
An international phrase book. Decent one.
Indecent one, a bit more use to me.
No, really. There's a market for that among the jet set.
Oh, you're one of them, are you?
I get around.
Oh, this must be very boring for you.
Sorry?
Crawling about the high seas in a frigate.
Not at all. Time to take stock. I'm enjoying the company.
Oh, good.
She's running a bit shallow, that's all.
This job's safe.
Coming from a flyboy, that's a laugh.
Yes?
Round's correct, sir.
Thank you, James. Coffee is on. How have our guests settled in?
Oh, fine. The doctor's been sorting out the museum in the medical store.
Museum?
Evidently, Milner's got everything issued to his sick bay since the last war.
What about Hugh Mannering?
Oh, he's all right.
Just all right.
Well, he hasn't yet claimed to have won an Olympic medal, but we're waiting.
A lot of odd people in the R&R, you know.
Odd is right. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if Commander Handley pulled a fast one on us.
How?
Could be that Rellington wasn't big enough for the both of them.
Mannering is a guest in your mess, James.
Which is the only reason I haven't yet shoved the wardroom table down his throat.
And you won't.
No, sir.
Nor will you set the rest of the officers against him.
He's doing a very good job of that himself. When it comes to winning friends and influencing people, he's a kamikaze.
Nobody forced him to put on a uniform and spend his holidays at sea.
No.
The R&R represents a visible will to resist.
That's a good catchphrase.
Then remember it.
Easy to remember it, sir. Harder to believe it.
In time of war, James, you'd be very glad of Mannering and his kind.
Yes, I was getting that way already.
What?
Time of war.
If it does get that way, you won't like it.
Meaning Mannering will talk me to death.
Meaning I'll hammer you from a very great height.
Well, I never thought I'd see the day when I sat down to a game of uckers with the commander in command.
The only thing to remember is that you're not allowed to beat him.
There's no danger of that. I'm not very good at working in squares these days. Oh, my fiasco in the exercise areas.
Oh, forget it.
I can't. If I'm no good at flying,
Then you'll have to find something else that you are good at.
Well, that won't be any consolation.
In time it will be.
If I go home a failure?
I wouldn't look at it that way.
Oh, my father will.
Oh?
Flying was his life. Swordfish, Taranto and all that. He was very good.
So, that's why you're flying?
Maybe. Certainly that's why I don't want to fail.
Very few people master everything they try, Tim.
I know.
The important thing is to have a go.
Yes, but it would be nice to succeed at something. I mean, some people have a golden touch.
Or claim they have.
Rubbish. I taught myself in 3 days.
Computer programming.
Certainly. All it takes is a reasonable intelligence. Bit of mathematics. Do.
I'll raise you. Nope. Pass.
Me too.
Of course, the really interesting thing these days is the application of computers. What you can do with them to change your lifestyle.
Yes.
You're 2. And up 2.
See you.
Those jacks aren't good enough, James. Queens and 10s.
Well, that's my final contribution to the Mannering Foundation. Night all.
Night,
Night.
Mike. Night. Here's, I think I'll call a halt to that, too. Put it all in the book, will you, Paul?
Right.
Play a lot of poker, do you?
I used to in California. But it's mostly lowball variety there, though.
What exactly do you do for a living?
I work for my father, off and on.
And what's he in?
Oil rigs, among other things.
Oh, so you're in California to drill oil?
Hardly. I went there for the surfing.
Yes, of course.
Ever tried it?
Can't say I have.
Oh, you ought to. Right?
I wouldn't know. Diving's my particular madness.
Really? Where'd you dive?
Malta, the Far East, and the murky waters of most naval bases.
I suppose you dive.
You know Jacques Daudet?
Not personally.
Well, he built the Meerschaft, PX-15. Yeah, he's quite a guy. Taught me most of what I know about diving. Off the coast of Florida.
Oh, of course.
Don't you believe me?
Why shouldn't I? You've done everything else, according to you.
Oh, I see. Well, good night.
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 Weekend sailor.
Oh, we haven't had that bit yet.
What, how you went round the world single-handed?
Yes. Oh, we may discover that Neil Armstrong was the second man on the moon.
I think we'll have to fix him very soon.
Here? Yes, sir.
Coffee or a nightcap? Or both?
Oh, coffee would be very nice, thank you, sir.
How are you getting on with the villains in my wardroom?
Splendidly, sir.
Looking after you properly, are they?
They couldn't have made me more welcome. It was very kind of you to agree to take me.
Sit down.
Thank you, sir.
I understand you're something of an adventurer.
Make me sound like Casanova.
I meant that you've managed to cram quite a lot in your life.
So far, yes.
You still find time for the R&R.
Well, that's an adventure, too.
And duty?
Ah, I'm not quite sure that fits the image.
So there's no serious side to Hugh Mannering.
I hope not.
Why did you decide to join the reserve?
Do you know, I've really no idea. Creature of impulse. Try anything once.
You may change your mind if you find yourself under fire.
Oh, I've already been under fire, sir.
Huh?
Vietnam. I got caught up there in '68.
Oh.
Take us straight out to 20 fathoms. Veer the winch full speed. Reduce. Step 4. Step 3. Two, 1, stop!
It's not working, sir.
On brake! On brake! Get that brake on!
What happened?
I turned it back to stop, sir. It just kept going.
Damn thing's jammed. Just over 100 fathoms out. Danger of it following the seabed.
Strain's coming on now.
It should clear itself. I don't want to cut it.
Give us the deck! Come on, move! Tim, get out of the way!
Sweep deck bridge, have you part of the wire?
Sorry, sir.
That's the rapid site reduction method, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. Thought so. Just get around to teaching myself that sometime.
Excuse me. Ops room.
Speak, Captain to Captain.
Roger, plug HF voice to the ops room. Captain, sir, navigating officer. Captain.
Could you come to the ops room, please, sir? We have Rellington calling HF. Captain to Captain.
On my way. Sir.
I wonder what Handley wants. He's probably run out of fresh milk for his cornflakes.
HF voice in the ops room now, sir.
Roger.
Rellington, this is Hero. Radio check, over.
Hero, Rellington, loud and clear. Is your commanding officer available?
Rellington Hero, commanding officer, over.
This is Rellington. Regret we have had serious accident on sweep deck. Your flight commander critically injured. Requires expert immediate medical attention.
Suggest my sweep deck officer speaks with the doctor. Over.
Hero, roger. Sending for the doctor now.
Surgeon Lieutenant Commander Doyle. Ops room at the rush. Surgeon Lieutenant Commander Doyle.
Why your sweep deck officer?
Oh, he's a vet, sir. With some medical knowledge.
I see.
Is somebody hurt?
Our flight commander in Rellington. Rellington Hero, doctor here now. Go ahead.
Hero Rellington, sweep deck officer for doctor. Stand by for description of injuries. Over.
Standing by.
Injuries are as follows. Fractures of the upper and lower jaw on the right, extensive laceration in the region of the right eye, fracture of the clavicle,
and deep puncture wound above the clavicle, which is bleeding profusely. Injuries were caused by wire whipping back out of parting. Over.
Have you managed to stop the bleeding from the puncture wound? Over?
Negative. I've done as much as I can, but he's still losing a lot of blood. We have no plasma. Imperative he has immediate surgery. Over.
Roger, Keith. Understood. Well, how soon can we get him on board, sir?
Pilot?
Well, we're about 80 miles apart, sir. Say 2 hours if we both steam towards.
Come up to 26 knots and turn towards.
Sir?
All right, Doctor?
No, not soon enough, sir. The injury's up here. It's a critical area. If I could get him on board within the hour, well, there might be a chance, but longer than that, I wouldn't like to say.
Other ships?
Rellington's right off all the routes, sir.
A helicopter pilot.
Yes. If only I was cleared, I could fly that Wasp.
Could you? A helicopter with a free turbine engine?
I did a week at Westland, sir. My father knows the chairman.
We've turned towards, sir. Engine room's working up to 26 knots. I estimate 1 hour 58 before we rendezvous.
Could you fly the Wasp?
I'm not allowed to, am I, sir?
But you do fly helicopters.
Oh, yes, sir. Often.
My cabin, please, number 1. I shall want to speak to you in a moment as well. Tell Rellington to turn towards at best speed. We'll advise further.
All right, sir. Rellington, this is Hero. Over.
What do you think?
Mannering?
Yes.
I shouldn't think he's ever been inside a helicopter.
He says he can fly the Wasp.
He says a lot of things.
Any of which you can disprove.
He's careful to make sure we can't, and he knows damn well you can't let it happen.
I might.
CNC would never allow it.
I may not tell CNC. At least, I may not ask permission.
Even if he can fly, which I doubt, he's never flown from the deck before. Strange aircraft, he'd have to
We're
hover over
talking about
Rellington.
Tim Proctor's life.
I know, sir, but Mannering will probably write off the aircraft and himself and whoever flew with him. Would you send the doctor?
No point. He can't operate in Rellington. We have to bring Tim over here.
Which means winching the stretcher.
Bring him in. What experience have you got?
Are you planning to send me, sir?
Please, answer the question, Hugh.
Over 600 hours on light helicopters.
Doing what?
Flying on and off my father's oil rigs.
Have you ever hovered over a ship? Ever winched?
No.
Are you willing to try? To save Proctor's life?
Am I allowed to, sir?
That's my problem, Hugh.
All right, sir. I'll try.
Thank you. You better get down to the aircraft straight away. And ask the flight for a copy of the pilot's notes.
Permission from CNC?
We never get it in time.
All the same, you'll have to make a propose to authorize.
I'll make an intend to authorize. Give them no option.
What about a winchman? Chief of the flight?
No. No, I want to volunteer.
Oh, can you see anyone volunteering to fly with Mannering?
You've got about 200 hours in Wasps, haven't you? You used to teach SAR divers. James, there's got to be somebody I can rely on. Somebody who won't panic. Somebody who can steady Mannering if it's necessary.
Sir, I'm still not convinced that Mannering knows a helicopter from a double-decker bus.
You're a good swimmer. Plot, Captain.
Navigating officer, sir.
Pilot, pipe flying stations. Wasp to immediate readiness for Cassivac, rigged for winching.
Aye, aye, sir.
Tell Rellington to prepare for helicopter transfer of the casualty and have the wardroom rigged as an emergency operating theatre. Is the yeoman there?
Affirmative, sir.
Take a signal. Immediate from Hero to CNC Fleet. Info, Flag Officer, Naval Air Command. My flight commander critically injured in Rellington. some 80 miles away. Intend authorizing Lieutenant H.L. Mannering, RNR, experienced civilian helicopter pilot, to fly my Wasp one flight only to transfer casualty to Hero for emergency surgery.
That it, sir?
Yes, that's it.
All set for startup?
All set.
Captain.
FDO request permission to launch, sir. Wind is red 3015. Ship is steady on the flight course.
Launch the Wasp.
Aye, aye, sir.
Here we go. Hero 7-1, airborne.
Roger, 7-1, you're heading for Rellington 295 with 64 miles to run.
295, 64, roger.
You briefed Rellington for the transfer?
Affirmative, sir. It'll be from her sweep deck. And they've got Burridge, the air crewman, to keep them right.
What about the doctor? Has he got everything he needs?
The Master at Arms is organising a stretcher party.
And assistance for the operation?
Well, LNA Milner, sir, obviously, and I've volunteered.
Thank you, Paul. Only two of you, though?
Doctor didn't want any more, sir. I'd better go to the wardroom now, sir.
Yes, of course, we don't really bother about that quite so much. And now, if I ever ask for it, is the
I see.
Yes.
Is that being sterilised?
Yes. Now, you have done this before, haven't you?
Yes, sir.
I want you to hold retractors, cut sutures.
Understood, sir.
And if I ask you to hold anything, then hold it still, right?
Sir.
Now, Paul, I want you to monitor the pulse and hand me the instruments. I'll point to what I want, and you must place it firmly in my hand. Right?
Right.
If we make a mistake, I'll let you know. There must be no rush, but no delay. Right, and let's see, we've got all the instruments, plasma. What about the intravenous infusion set?
Oh, it's in the hangar, sir.
Ah, good. Good.
I'll get myself settled in the hover over the stern. Let me know when you're ready to start winching.
Roger.
Sorry. Lost my reference point. We'll start again.
Like me to talk you down?
No, I can manage. Yes, I think that might be a help, actually.
I'm ready when you are.
Okay, here we go.
Right about 10 feet. Steady, bit too far. Left 4 feet. That's fine for line. You need to come forward 15 feet. Go on. Go on. Bit more. Bit more. Come on.
I'm getting too damn close.
No, you're not.
I can take the blades off.
We won't. About another 5 feet will do it. Shade further. That's it. Hold that. That's nice. Need to come down a bit, though. Down. That's it. Lowering the cage now. Cage is just reaching the deck now. They're lifting him in now. Okay, he's in. Up, nice and straight. That's it. I'm winching him up now. Clear to move away now.
Rellington, 7-1. I'm on my way back. Request to inform hero.
You hear that? The helicopter is now returning and will be landing shortly.
The starboard waist is out of bounds except to the stretcher party until further notice.
Helo at 8 miles, sir. Nearly there, sir. Just the land on to go.
Anything? He's on board Hero and the operation's proceeding.
Right, now, first of all, I'm going to try to stop the venous bleeding. Paul, clamp.
Yes, sir.
And apologies all around?
He can fly a helicopter.
Rellington's still closing.
No news from the wardroom?
No. No, not yet.
Now, I'm going to have to tie off a branch of this vein. Catgut. No. I want it threaded. In the aneurysm needle. That one over there. Yes, that's the one.
Sorry, Doc.
That's all right, Paul. You're doing fine.
Pulse is speeding up a lot.
Turn up the plasma drip. You'd better get another bottle ready.
I think it's stopped.
All right, drop that. Get the resuscitation kit. Quickly.
Any news?
Well done, Hugh.
Joint effort, sir.
This is a hell of a time to get coy.
All right, you can stop that now.
Signal from CNCs, huh?
Yes? Thank you, Doctor. What's the signal?
Casualty shall be transferred by boat or jackstay. Unqualified officer is on no account to pilot your healer.
Thank you.